Hey everyone, so it's Hearth and welcome back to my channel. So on today's video, we are going to be doing a spell video, and this is going to be a candle magic protection spell. So today I felt it was the right time to start sharing one of my protection spells. With everything that is going on in the world, a lot of people need protection right now, and if all I can do, or if all you can do, is work your energy and your intention, then that is definitely worth doing. So I wanted to share with you one of my candle magic protection spells. If you aren't able to use candles or fire within your workings, there are lots of other protection spells out there on YouTube that you can use to help with this situation and any other if you do want to do a protection working without fire. Now, I personally love this working. I love working with candles. It's probably my main way of working magic, especially for things like protection workings and any kind of abundance, instant kind of workings I want to manifest really, really quickly. So today's working is completely adaptable. You can use it for anything, and you can also change all of the items in it. You definitely don't need to copy and paste exactly what I'm doing and for the exact reason that I'm doing it. You really can make it your own. This working can be used to protect a singular person, multiple people, a group of people, a family of people, a house, a property, a business, location, energy, items, whatever it is. You can really tweak it and make it your own by changing what you write on that petition and by changing the energy and the intention that you put into it. On top of that, you can also change the items that are involved in this working. Make it yours, make it work for you, make it powerful. You definitely don't need to copy and paste it. You really can make it yours. If you want to use a different oil, feel free to do that. If you want to use a different candle, feel free to do that. If you want to use different herbs, feel free to do that. Definitely make it yours, tweak it, edit it, add things in, take things out. Whatever you feel will work best for you is the thing that you should do. Now, I am going to list down below all of the items that I have used so that you guys know exactly what I personally have used in this video, but you really can make it completely yours if you want to. And because I feel as though it's really important to say, if you want to learn more about the situation that is happening at the moment, I will leave a list of links down in the description box that you can check that will give you a little bit more information about what's going on, a little bit more information about fundraising and the donation systems to the people that need it the most, and also links to things that you can do if you are in America, if you are in Canada, if you are in the UK or in Europe, that you can do to help. Because I know over here in the UK, we feel a little bit powerless over here because everything is very different here than it is over in the States. So that is enough of me talking. I hope that you enjoy this spell, and let me show you how I did it. So these are the items that we're going to be working with for this particular spell. Now, I know that it might look like a crazy amount of items, but I promise you don't need all of these things if you want to do this working for yourself. I have them all on the table just to kind of give you an example of the different things that you can use if you do want to do this working for yourself. And remember that all spell work is completely adaptable. If you don't want to add patchouli in there, you don't have to. You really can mix it up and use what works best for you. So what items do I have on this table? So the first thing is the candle itself. Now, you can really use any color candle. I am going to be using black because this is a protection working, and I do have black candles available to me. If you only have white, that is a good option as well. And if you are protecting something in particular, you can adapt the color to suit what it is that you want to protect. But for me, I want to protect groups of people. So I'm just going to be using a straight up black candle for this working. Next to it, I have what looks like a very scary item. This is actually an awl. Now, awls, spelt A-W-L, for anyone that was asking me the last time I mentioned it, they are used in leather making and bookbinding. So they're actually used to stab through leather and stab through pages so that you can bookbind. I like using these for candle scribing because they are super sharp, so always be careful with them, but they aren't going to be easily broken like a toothpick is. So it is a good investment if you do work a lot with candle magic. I then have a candle holder. Any candle holder will do. This is just one that I have readily available to me. I then have protection oil. Now, because I make my own oils, I have them in like jars. This is actually one of the smallest oils that I do. Any kind of protection oil is good. That can be fiery wall of protection. That could just be protection like this one. You can also make your own, buy them in, whatever it is that you want to be able to do. You can also charge olive oil for the same purpose as well. I then have sage. Now this is garden sage. I'm going to be using this to cleanse the items in this working that might have energy attached to them. So things like the candle. The herbs and stuff don't need cleansing, but the candle, because it's been sitting in my collection for a while, I am going to be cleansing just to make sure there's no interfering energies on that. I then have a lighter to light said candle and the sage. So you definitely can use matches or the candles, whatever it is you have available. It's just that I have a lighter readily available, so I am going to be using that for this video. A petition, now mine has 4 ripped edges. I then also have a pen. Now for this kind of working, you can use dragon's blood ink, you can use a specific type of ink, but I'm just going to be using a standard black biro. The other items, I'm then kind of picking and choosing what it is I'm going to use. So there's a few different options here. You can load and dress your candle with herbs. So the ones that I would personally use for this working are birch leaf, patchouli and red sandalwood. Or you can go down the route that I am going down, and I'm actually going to be using a sachet powder. This is a protection powder that I make, and it actually contains ground up herbs for protection. So I'm actually going to be using this to dress the candle rather than the herbs, but you can use the straight up herbs to dress your candle if you do want to. And that are all of the items. There aren't actually that many when you actually break it down. So I'm going to move these onto the floor because I'm not going to be using these today, and let's start with cleansing. So when it comes to cleansing in a working like this, you really can do it in multiple ways. You can use smoke cleansing, you can use sound cleansing, you can use liquid cleansing. But if you are going to be using liquid cleansing, please make sure that you don't get the wick wet, because as soon as that wick is wet, you are going to have a really hard time drying it out again if you do want to do the working right here and now. Now, I personally like using sage. Now, this is garden sage. It's just a standard sage stick that you can find in the UK. And as you can see, I use a lot of sage. This is probably like my 10th stick since January. Like, I use a lot of sage. So for this, I'm only cleansing the items that have energy already attached to them. So things like the candle, the awl, and the candle holder. So I'm essentially just going to find a nice bit of the sage that isn't already charcoal, and I'm just gonna light it. And then I'm just gonna pass the items through the smoke that I've created. So once these items are cleansed, we can then move on to the next step. So I'm gonna move the candle holder to one side, and I'm just going to focus on the candle itself. So I always want to treat my magical objects as though every single one of them is significant and important. Now, a lot of workers don't necessarily do this, but I personally like to imbue the candle with energy before I actually start doing any of the inscriptions or anything else on it, because I really want to make sure that it has that protective energy imbued in it. It's not just about the items I put on it, it's not just about the oil or the words, it's about the energy. So I'm going to start by holding onto this candle, and I want to charge it with that protective energy. I want to tell it what I want it to do. I want to energize this working. So once that candle is energized, I'm then going to go and scribe into it. Now, this is a protection candle, and rather than actually writing on it symbols and sigils, I'm actually planning on writing the word protection a whole bunch of times going down the candle. I really want to draw that energy into that working rather than expel it. So I don't want protection to leave, I want protection to come. So I'm going to be carving protection going down the candle as it spirals, so that it starts at the very tip and ends at the very bottom. Now, I am going to have to turn the candle around to do this because I can't write upside down. So bear with me on this one, and I will come back to you once it's all scribed in. So that is the candle covered in the word protection. Now, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see it, so I'll get you a little bit closer. Can you see that? I really hope that you can see that. That is the word protection scribed all the way up and all the way down that candle. I really wanted to get it in there, so I did that a lot of times, and it's well worth it. Actually, at this angle, oh, you can see it from this angle. Ooh. Nice. Right. So now that we've done that, I'm going to start on the oil. I'm hoping that you can see it, but this oil has a lot of herbs in it. This is one of my steeped oils. We steep them, or I steep them, should I say, for between kind of 4 and 8-ish weeks, although my personal ones are usually steeped permanently because I never decant them. So they're all steeped in herbs to really infuse that energy into them. So this is what I'm going to be using today. So opening the oil up, I'm going to be taking my candle. Now, I want to be dressing from the top to the bottom to really draw in that energy. So I'm just going to take a little bit, just a little bit on my finger. I'm going to energize it with what I want it to achieve, and then I'm going to dress the candle with it. So my hands are now covered in oil, but that might actually be a good thing. So I'm going to put the lid back on again, because if I knock this over, it will be a disaster. So next jobby is going to be the sachet powder. So I'm just going to rub this oil into my hands for a little while. I will wash my hands afterwards, but honestly, while I'm doing this working, I'm just going to end up covered in more oil anyway. So this is my protection powder. Now I make this powder myself. This is the one that I sell in the store. And it comes with a little spoon in here because I thought ahead. So essentially this is powdered herbs. It takes me a long time to powder these things. It really hurts actually, but it's well worth it. And powders are exceptionally good for working with candles like this that you can't load internally with herbs. Instead, you really need to load externally, and that can get quite hazardous sometimes. So I'm going to take just a small amount of this powder and I'm going to just tip it into my hand. And this is gonna make a real mess. Essentially, same again, I'm gonna energize the powder, I'm gonna dress the candle top to bottom to imbue it with that protective energy. So as you can see, the candle is now covered in powder. It's got all the words written on it, and it is covered in powder completely. The words really stand out when you put the powder on it as well, which I really, really like. So every time I've added something onto this candle, I've energized it. So I energized it after I cleansed it. I energized it after I put the oil on it. I've energized it as and after I've put on the powder. So every time it's getting an extra energy layer as you're doing it. So now I'm going to move this slightly to one side and I'm going to write my petition. Now the bonus of doing the oil and then the sachet powder is that my hands are now pretty much dry. All of that powder has really soaked up the oil. I'm kind of messy, but it's not the end of the world. So I have myself a pen. I have myself a petition paper. Now, petition papers come in all shapes and sizes. A lot of people will use brown paper. Unfortunately, I don't have any brown paper just lying around at the moment, so I've just used this piece of paper. Now, I've ripped all of the edges because I don't want anything to be really harsh here. I want it to be a very protective, a soft, nurturing energy for this. So I have my little paper, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to write out the intention that I have 4 times across this paper. I'm then going to turn it 90 degrees clockwise. I'm going to sign my name 4 times across this paper. I'm going to turn it 90 degrees again. I'm then going to fold it towards, turn it 90 degrees, towards again. So I'm gonna speed this up till I get to the folding bit, and then you guys can see what I mean. So once I've written the petition, I'm then going to energize it just a little bit more by adding some oil into it. Now, the number 4 relates to protection and strength. So what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a little bit of that oil, just a little tiny bit. I'm going to be energizing it, and then I'm going to be dotting it on the 4 corners of this petition. I'm going to go in with a little tiny bit of sachet powder. It doesn't have to be very much. So I'm just dropped that sachet powder onto the petition, and I'm just going to rub it into that oil. Fold it towards me, turn it 90 degrees again, and then fold it towards me again. So once these 2 things are done, I'm then going to go and start putting them in this. Now, I am going to put this in a location where I can watch it. Now, in my filming room, I don't particularly sit in here unless I'm filming. So I'm then going to allow this to burn down fully, likely over the next few days. I'll snuff it out as I need to, and it's going to be burned down on a mirror. Now I'm choosing to do it on a mirror so that it can bring extra protection to that working, so it acts as a shield from any negative counter working or anything that's going to try and stop this working from manifesting. I don't want any interference on this protection spell. Now you don't need to put it on a mirror. I personally do use mirror discs quite a lot for this. So I will show you me putting it in the candle holder, and then I'm also going to show you what it looks like when it's in its final location on its mirror, because I want to make sure that this is as strong as I can possibly make it for the purpose that I have done this working for. Now, the way I'm going to be doing this on the mirror is that the petition is going to go down first. That is going to go down underneath the candle holder, which is then going to have the candle on top of it, all on top of a mirror. Okay, so this is the candle where it is going to be. Now, it's quite an unusual setup. This is my astrological altar that I burn my astrological candles on. And typically, it doesn't have this kind of stuff on it. It kind of has this kind of stuff on it because I have nowhere to put this stuff right now, and so it is on my astrological altar. But if anything, I think it's quite fitting because this is a Gryffindor print. And protection and courage. I kind of like it, I kind of dig it. So I have it on a mirror dish right here. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to lift the candle off, and I'm actually going to put this petition underneath, mainly because of the size of the candle holder. I'm slightly worried of it being unstable, and protection is most important. In all areas of life, remember that, kids, protection is important. Right, enough of me giving you a PSA. I have my lighter, I have my candle, I have it next to a courage print, which is quite fitting. Let's go ahead and light this. So just before I light it, I'm going to energize it with energy. Once again, I'm going to tell it exactly what I want it to do, exactly what I want it to manifest, and then I'm going to light it with this lighter. For anyone that's eagle-eyed, yes, this is a different lighter. My other lighter burned me, and I got annoyed at it. So I switched out for this one. Okay. And then I'm gonna light it. And if I need to put it out, because it is getting quite late now, if I do need to put it out, I'm going to snuff it out, and then I will keep relighting it until all of this wax is gone. And then I will place the remains in a sachet where I will keep it and energize it to continue to bring protection for the situation that is currently happening. Okay, I'm gonna put this lighter somewhere safe. I will probably forget it, but if I forget it, can you guys tell me that I've put it here? Because I will forget it. Okay, so I'm going to let this burn down. I'm going to let you watch for a little while. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys in a minute. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. It really means so much to me. If you enjoyed it, feel free to give it a like. It really means a lot. If you have any spell videos that you would like to see me do in the future, feel free to list them down in the comment section. I am planning on doing more protection spells soon, so that if you can't use fire in your magic, you do have other options that you can work with. If you do have any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, or just want to chit chat with the community, feel free to post a comment down below. We have a wonderful community going on. There's also a Discord server where you can chat with a bunch of different members of the community, so you can really interact, ask questions, learn, grow as a practitioner and in the community. That will also be linked down in the description box. And if you do enjoy this video and you do want to see more, I do post videos every Wednesday and every Saturday at 6 p.m. So feel free to subscribe, join in on the fun. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope that you are being careful, and I hope you have a marvelous magical day. Right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!